Yeah, I love these thumbnail pics. Holy cow. What's up, everybody? Kaiser, my YouTube live, my Kaiser's Quest channel, Spiritual Awakening. Get my feet wet on YouTube as much as I can. And, yeah, we're in the middle of my life story. We're at the 21-year-old years, but before I get started, I like to share my game plans I got going on. Since doing the whole digital marketing thing, it's really opened up my eyes to the internet. Like, how many different things link up together. And I think that's the trick when you get started in that business is you don't know how anything links together. So as you're involved in the business, as I am, and I'm a coach for an actual company, so I'm really involved, you start to put the little pieces of the puzzle together that fit to everything else out there, and that's how you could start firing off ideas to open up multiple streams. So YouTube has taught me that it's going to keep growing. It's going to put TV out of business. So I say this a lot in the coaching game that too many people look at the short term, right? Guys who become billionaires and stuff, they don't look at next year or 5 years. They look at 10 years, 15, 20 years down the road. And you really have to start looking at these media outlets that way. If you start growing your YouTube today, there's nothing but opportunity in 5 to 10 years. That's it. Like, you're a part of it. You're in front of it. You're learning, you're editing, you're learning how to put out good content, right? And you run with it from there. Like, I could see my camera's a little smudged. But again, a little bit of technology issues there. This is my practice channel. This is me getting my feet wet. This is me documenting everything I went through my life so I can go back and rip out the pieces that I want and make a pretty cool story later. That's why I'm doing this. That's book lives out. That's why I'm doing this. That's book lives out there. That's why I have Instagram lives. That's why I have a podcast. Because I want to track my life. I show people what happens when you go from, living your life as a freaking party guy, dicking on all your responsibilities, and then I want to show people how quick it all turned around when I woke up, right? When I woke up, right? So really, really think about that. It's an important message. It's the biggest part of the message is the fact that I'm doing this to help change people. So remember that. Like, I'm trying to save y'all young people a lot of time and not making all the same damn mistakes I did. And I'm trying to wake up the older generation that if you're still making your 21-year-old mistakes, that's why your life's not changing. You're probably stuck in your head thinking about all the bad when you need to be stuck in your head thinking about good. And the only way that happens is by truly loving yourself and changing the habits that you have created throughout your life. And I know it sounds crazy hard, but it's actually a lot easier than any of y'all realize. Because if you do it in steps and you do it slowly, it's not so drastic, you know what I mean? And that's why I can coach people through it. I know exactly how I did it. I'm very, very aware and very, very awake now. So it's my turn to start helping others get through it, Start with personal development, and start with basic personal development. Just start listening to Tony Robbins. I mean, that man's been telling y'all for years how to be successful. And most of it starts with just being happy with inside your mind. That's it. And how does that happen? Being happy with what you already have. That's it. Don't expect so much. Don't think you're worthy of something that you're not until you are worthy of it. You know, my whole life I was chasing after money, thinking I was going to be a millionaire. I just had the chemicals screwed up, right? I lived with nothing but anxiety and fear and crap because of the lifestyle. And I really thought that was going to get me to the other side. Foolishness. But now that I got my head right, I know how to get to the other side, and y'all are going to watch me do it. Just like y'all are going to watch me open up a bunch of YouTube channels. They're all going to be successful. I'm taking it serious. You know, yesterday I just listened to a lot of stuff on editing and just vlogging in general. Today I'm going to start following some of the top vloggers and study them. Why do I want to do that? Because that's how you become the best at something. You watch the best do it. You watch what they did. You go back and you follow them from the very beginning, and then, you know, that's how you figure it out. That's the keys. And if you see them do it, right, and you can envision yourself doing it, don't you think that more than likely you're going to wind up doing it because you're already creating it in your head? So it's a beautiful thought, but let's get back to it, right? 21-year-olds, right? I know the feeling. I was the guy leaning up against the thing in the bar with my Red Bull and my Red Bull and vodka, you know, from Margate to Philly to Atlantic City to New York to, man, I partied everywhere. You know, I went out, like I said, more than anybody. There's probably not too many people on this planet besides like DJs who did it as hard as I did. But the lessons in those years are really like, get your ass out of the club, get your ass out of the bar scene as quick as possible. Like I said before, you don't want to meet the person who you care about there anyway, because the vibration inside a club is so shitty. Like, everybody's out for one thing, ass, right? You know, and whether a girl wants to say it or not, like, you got the same damn thoughts that we got, you know? Be a little bit easier of a world if, you know, we just slow down and get away from the hookup part and get back to the actually knowing people part, right? So you're going out to a loud ass club and you meet somebody, you have a bunch of alcohol that definitely screws this thing up, and, you know, the thought process. But here's one for you. One time I was out, right, and I was so twacked out of my mind on Red Bull and vodka, I ended up meeting this chick, right? And the story is crazy because she's getting married. I don't even remember, but I'm pretty sure we had sex, and her friends were in the room. And I do remember waking up and them being like upset, and I was tore up. I woke up just hurting. They're like, Jesus, you're snoring all night. And I was just like, fuck it, I'm out of here, you know? So I roll out, and it's funny, man. Like, I don't even know how many years later, but I was out at a club, and it was some off-the-wall place, and I remember exactly where I was standing. This is a beautiful thing about life, like, when you can really dissect your brain. Like, I remember these events. And I remember I was outside this place smoking a cigarette to the left-hand side. I think I was with my boy Matt. But sure enough, here's that chick, and she's saying hi to me, and I'm looking at her like, do I know you? I think I know you, but I don't know if I know you. And she's like, don't you remember I was getting married? I was like, oh, how's the marriage? I forget, you know, after she started talking from that point, another rule, ladies, like, when you're getting the guy out at the club and it's a quick hookup, like, yeah, there's many times I didn't know the person's name, okay? I was the guy in the bar that would meet the girl and within 30 seconds forget their name. So I would always have a roll dog with me. So I would make them, and a lot of my friends knew this game after a while, like, hey, so they would walk up, hey man, my friend's kind of rude, what's your name again? They would get me their name, they would whisper it to me, then I would try to lock it into my head. But you know, when you drink that much, you still tend to forget things, you know? So there's another story, you know, and there's thousands of stories like that. I'm just going to keep getting on here, and as they pop into my head, I'll roll with it, and then later on in life, I'll figure out exactly what timeline they were. But 21 early on, you know, I was really running up to Cherry Hill a lot to go to Top Dog, or, you know, I think it was maybe Iguana still, and then changed over to Top Dog. But I was hitting all the clubs up in that area, you know, expanding my network. That was before social media. You know, we were expanding our network. We're running around all different clubs, meeting a whole different bunch of people, because I was addicted to the social side. You know, for some reason, I just had a feeling like if you knew enough of the right people, like, your life had to go easy, you know, and shit, it just didn't work that way. You know, it comes down to your habits. It comes down to your mindset. It comes down to all that stuff that creates your happiness. So, you know, remember, don't get tied up in that. Don't get tied up in thinking you got to be the man. Like, if you can be the man in here today, right? Especially you young bucks, man, if you can get this thing right now, and you can just live with happiness, and you can find the thing that you really love to do and get paid to do it, that's the day and age we're in, baby. That's what you want to be looking for out of life. If you can find that, and you can beat all the bad habits, you don't eat all that crap, you don't stick processed food in your body, you're winning. So, great message today. Talk to y'all tomorrow. Love you.